Good Friday, everyone. Thanks for stopping by Garden State Weather and GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, your source for weather information for the northern mid-Atlantic region 24 hours a day. I'm forecaster Robert Smith with the in-depth video forecast analysis discussion for Friday, the 24th of January 2014. Chimney stacks all across this country from the Continental Divide all the way to the Gulf Coast today. Plumes of smoke coming out over the tops of them as the Arctic air mass is entrenched over the region. Clear skies this morning overhead and plenty of Arctic air in place. Temperatures at 7 a.m. this morning at 0 exactly at High Point State Park. Look at this, 6 degrees below 0 right now at Walpack. Temperatures are in the single digits to teens across the region, and this is throughout the entire New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia metropolitan area this morning. Another night before sunrise where temperatures fell below 0 in many regions here in northern New Jersey. Look at this, 10 degrees below 0 this morning in Basking Ridge. Temperatures at 6 degrees below 0 this morning in Peak West, 3 degrees below 0 in Hope in Warren County, New Jersey. You even have temperatures in the single digits right along the outer barrier islands here of the New Jersey coastline down through Ocean and Monmouth County. 10 degrees below 0 this morning in Berkeley Township as well. Very, very, very cold, frigid air. This image comes to us from coolweather.com. Look at this, about 35 to 37 stations this morning across the eastern United States, all the way down through the Central Plains and even down to Texas, approaching all-time record lows that have been surpassed within the last 20 to 50 years. All of these stations are approaching record low temperatures this morning, and more of them are on the way as we get the latest data coming in, because don't forget we're on Eastern time here. Throughout the Central Plains, these temperatures are still going to drop, so we're going to find more record low temperatures this morning nationally across the country. High pressure over the region this morning. The latest visible satellite imagery shows the plumes of all of this Arctic air entrenched and driving down over the coastal waters. We can see that with the striations to the clouds on the visible satellite this morning. And we've got a little bit of opaque moisture beginning to develop across the region. This next short wave across the Great Lakes will drive an Arctic front through the region tomorrow. There could be some accumulating snow and a snowburst and near whiteout conditions at times tomorrow afternoon, but we'll get ahead of ourselves on that. Taking a look at the current radar, everything is pretty much quiet. There's still a few plumes of moisture coming in from off the lakes here, but none of that will be evident across our region today as we try to warm up. Temperatures today are not really going to get much above the upper teens to the low and mid-20s, so you're really going to have to continue to bundle up. Watches, warnings, and advisories. It's so cold out there that freezing spray and vessel icing is a good bet on the marine decks here across the southern edges of Long Island, the North Shore and South Shore of southern Connecticut's coastal waters, the New Jersey coastal waters, and ice is forming around the edges of the Delaware Bay and will continue to grow over the next week. So we're going to have to watch for this because a lot of vessels are getting stuck in the ice. There's going to be gale watches and gale warnings in effect right through the weekend, with winds basically at 20 to 30 knots, with gusts up to 40 knots at times. Freezing spray, icing on vessels as well through the next couple of days. It's going to be difficult for mariners to navigate through these coastal waters as the edges of the coastlines are now getting quite a bit of ice on the lower edges here. Over the land areas, we have wind chill advisories expiring across the Poconos in northeastern Pennsylvania until about 10 or 12 noon this afternoon. On the coastal waters, heavy freezing spray advisories on the south shore of on the north shore of Long Island from New Haven, Connecticut, all the way out to Norwich. And that will expire at around this evening. But the entire area here is just entrenched in an Arctic air mass, and navigating vessels and small craft through this region will be quite difficult, if not impossible, over the next couple of days. Current national water vapor loop and 500 millibar analysis from the RAP model this morning shows the polar vortex in its lobes here across southeastern Canada, south of the Hudson's Bay area. Here's another vortex driving south with a strong frontal system moving towards the Great Lakes this morning. Very afternoon. Also notice here our high pressure ridge across and off the western coast of the United States. Look at all this dry air entrenched over California and the southwestern regions here. Also notice our subtropical jet stream is getting much more active here over the Baja regions of California. This means a trough is going to get into the southern portions of California over the next week or so. And as this moisture continues to plume and the Arctic vortex continues to spin around here across south of Hudson's Bay, Canada, into southern New England, some of this energy will begin to form a surface low early next week, and some of the models are hinting that it stays just to the east of the forecast region on Tuesday night and Wednesday. We've already seen a western trend of this kind of scenario as a large area of hard Arctic high pressure will build in across the eastern seaboard next week. And that means that we'll have to be on the watch for a further west track on Tuesday night and Wednesday, but right now we're getting ahead of ourselves and we'll get back to the forecast. On the aviational deck this morning, it's a cold one. At Newark, New Jersey, it's 9 degrees, dew point -2. The wind is out of the west at 12 miles per hour. Wind chill 6 degrees below zero. A few clouds this afternoon, and this morning some scattered clouds this afternoon. Scattered higher clouds late this afternoon and this evening as the winds shift around to the southwest at about 10 knots or so. Visibility is better than 10 miles, but broken to scattered ceilings. And then by tomorrow morning, light snow could be breaking out later in the morning to the early afternoon hours as a burst of snow moves through the terminals. Visibilities could greatly be reduced below 5 miles to a mile or two, depending on how that snow burst works out, with scattered clouds at 5,000, broken at 10,000. That moves off the coast with blustery conditions. Some blowing snow could be at the airport terminals late tomorrow afternoon as well. So VFR right now going down to MVFR or even IFR later in snow showers tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. Right now in Philadelphia this morning, it's currently clear. Temperature is 9. The wind is out of the west at 9 miles per hour. The wind chill -4. A few scattered clouds around the region this afternoon. Late this afternoon, some broken ceilings with the winds turning around to the southwest and increasing to about 10 knots. And then some snow showers in the vicinity early tomorrow morning as that snow plume and trough line axis wakes its way across the region with the Arctic front tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. Snow showers once again could produce some blowing and drifting and also very reduced visibilities below 5 miles, sometimes down to as much as a mile or so in any of the heavier snowburst during tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon into the evening hours. And then basically VFR conditions with blustery conditions returning to the terminals tomorrow night right through Sunday morning. Once again, we continue with a very active pattern over the next couple of days into early next week with below normal temperatures. Any temperatures that rise to near zero or freezing rather, 0 Celsius along the coast will quickly be returned back to below 0 Celsius or back into the teens and 20s again throughout the weekend into early next week. Just today, a few scattered clouds around the region and then increasing clouds across the region late this afternoon ahead of a cold front moving through the Great Lakes. This is a very strong cold front in terms of cold air behind it and strong winds too as the pressure gradient tightens up as this thing gets off the coast tomorrow night and Sunday morning. Blustery conditions. Now, prefrontal trough line moves through the region tomorrow afternoon. Could be some snow breaking out across the Poconos, southeastern Pennsylvania, moving through the New Jersey, New York City terminals tomorrow afternoon through tomorrow evening. A quick 1 to 3 inches, obviously the highest amounts in higher elevations where snow ratios will be higher and the air mass will be a little bit more colder and the air will be more mixed. Once the front moves through the region, blustery conditions, and then an increase in cloud cover once again on Sunday afternoon as the next little shortwave max moves through Sunday night into Monday morning. Could find a few more light snow showers across the region Sunday night into Monday morning. A little bit less than what we were expecting during tomorrow afternoon, however. GFS forecast into motion now. High pressure across the region today. It's a cold one. Temperatures in the teens to low mid-20s. Here comes the Arctic front late tonight and early tomorrow morning. Front and attendant low pressure across the Great Lakes and a prefrontal trough moving through the region with a snow burst. It could be about an inch or two, maybe locally 3 inches of snow tomorrow afternoon. It's a quick hitting frontal boundary that moves through. Blowing and drifting of any snow obviously would stick on the ground with temperatures holding in the 20s and a blustery wind shift from the southwest to the northwest after the trough axis and cold front move through. Just blustery conditions tomorrow night right through Sunday morning. And on the backside, here's another little disturbance moving through the flow. This could get in here on Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening with another burst of little snow on Sunday night into Monday morning as that clipper moves into southeastern Canada. Notice the Arctic vortex here. Trying to pinwheel around here east of Hudson's Bay as we get into the middle and later part of next week. It relocates itself over central South Canada and allows basically an onslaught onslaught of moisture in the subtropical stream and also in the polar stream to merge across the central Rockies here, and then a very progressive pattern underneath it with low pressure developing across the central plains and racing up towards the east coast, with Gulf moisture now getting involved into the forecast too. And we'll show this going ahead. High pressure then builds in across the region Monday night and Tuesday. Very cold conditions remain across the region. Gulf moisture now gets involved here. Very strong high pressure builds across the region early next week, but then Gulf moisture and the split flow and the pattern and the wind shift gets here. Takes the system well off the east coast. That would be late Wednesday here if this model is correct. And then on the backside, another low pressure system develops a little bit closer to the coast. We'll have to watch this one for later Thursday and Friday. This one could be a little closer to the coast and could provide snow to coastal New England and also into interior Connecticut. A westward track, obviously, if any of this would push the snow back into the New Jersey, New York City metropolitan area. So we'll have to keep a watch for that. But definitely a cold and stormy pattern, active weather pattern ahead. Now, what's important is next week is not only Super Bowl, the biggest Super Bowl of this century here, Super Bowl number 48 coming to the New Jersey, New York City metro area. Of course, the onslaught of precipitation will be in the offing as we're going to present ourselves with the chance for snow on that weekend. It's also Groundhog's Day on that day. We just don't know how this is going to work out yet, whether the system is going to be a little suppressed to the south and the timing of this. But we could have some snow around the region during Saturday and Sunday, Groundhog's Day of next week, but we just don't know how the system is going to evolve yet. Right now it looks very progressive. But any kind of isentropic lift or warm air advection would produce snow across the region as people are coming in to see the game. So we're going to mindfully pay attention to this as we get closer to the forecast period. Obviously, we're having problems with the mouse here too today. So winter is going down to be a cold one for the ending of January and a potentially stormy one for the Super Bowl too. We just don't know how that's all going to work out yet, but of course we'll be paying attention to that throughout the weekend and into next week as well. Bundle up, stay warm, watch out for the light coating of snow tomorrow. It could really cause some slick traveling conditions throughout the region tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. And then just bundle up, just blustery and cold weather continuing with very below normal temperatures, about 20 to 25 degrees below normal temperatures right into early next week. For Garden State Weather, gardenstateweather.blogspot.com. Live information on Twitter, Facebook, and on both websites, and live coverage too. Have a great weekend. Stay warm and safe out there. We'll be back bright and early with you in video form on Monday. For Garden State Weather, I'm forecaster Robert Smith.